Aloha. Wanted to share a channel and a brother Yusuf on New Life channel, New Life Tools channel. Masterly Foolish put me on his work. This video in particular goes in on the difference between Lucifer and Satan. He throws in the devil in there as well. With this video, I wanted to go into, or how I break down the how and the why of the work that is done within the Luciferian satanic devil conversation, dealing with the incubus and the succubus, or the masculine and the feminine. So we have the titles of Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. We also have the interpretations of the incubus and the succubus, or how I'm tying this in, the incubus and the succubus as some kind of fluid of confusion or fluid of manipulation within the realm of the Lucifer, Satan, and devil conversation. So you have the chaos that is in and within all of the conversations of basically the not knowing of what's going on with this realm, the ignorance. The ignorance of the people allows your potential reversed, your true natural balances reversed and reprogrammed to work against you instead of maximizing your potential, manifests itself instead of, let's say, angelic masculine and feminine energies, manifests in this reality more so as demonic masculine and feminine energies. And these demonic masculine and feminine energies are amplified in the subconscious by glorifying the lower bodies, which are actually the higher bodies. Our lower bodies are the higher bodies of other dimensional beings, or they have the potential. Our bodies, our lower bodies, have the potential to hold space for the higher bodies of lower dimensional beings. So these lower dimensional beings, for this video, I wanted to address the incubus and the succubus, because it's very easy to see how the incubus and succubus nature exists inside the mainstream control measures of the world. One of the main control mechanisms that I address on this channel are the usages of sexual manipulation and the manipulating of masculine and feminine energies to fight themselves instead of working together to produce or reproduce or creating energy, to implode itself, to consume its own energy. So the sexual energy of the masculine side gets consumed by the feminine when we don't know, when we don't consciously engage in these ritualistic acts of sex, or whatever you want to call it, love making. There's emptiness there. The human experience can be a realm for demons if the lower bodies of the so-called human are activated in a way that are more conducive to demonic energies than the, let's say, angelic energies or angelic potentialities that are available to the human experience to evolve itself. One of the other reasons why you could be subjected, or many people can be subjected, to the lower energies of lower entities is because you at first have been separated from your higher energies and your higher entities, or your higher expressions of yourself. So this is why the realm itself has to be manipulated to glorify the satanic energies, or the ego, or the false self, And to take it a step even further, the realm or the psychology that is ran by the lower bodies also glorifies the human condition, which or the human experience, because the human experience is a glorification of the satanic experience, which is the doorway that allows the lower bodies to manifest itself. Your ego or false self or lower self is the higher self, or is the potential higher self for lower body entities. So it is in the best interest of the incubus and the succubus to convince the realm that they need to inhabit themselves within, to convince them to maintain a lower state, a lower frequency. Because as long as the realm, which is the human experience for lower entities, as long as the realm maintains a lower status, a lower vibration, there will never be a threat to the invisible beings who are inhabiting those spaces. So right now, you have incubus and succubus who are living inside of root chakras and sacral chakras and even solar plexus chakras. So at first, an incubus or a succubus can manifest itself in the lower body of the root chakra by separating you from nature, by manipulating your connection to that which is the mineral and nutrient, like soul minerals and soul nutrient receivers, the mineral receivers, the soul nutrient receivers of your reality, which is your root system, is flipped into this idea of futurism based upon technology and the Western ideologies. It has nothing to do with nature. So you have no soul nutrients, no soul minerals that are getting to your experience, to allow your experience to raise itself out of the spaces that are, for the most part, subjected more so to the lower entities like an incubus and a succubus. The sacral energies of this reality are, and the sacral energies of individuals' experiences are manipulated by the subconscious sexual programming through the mainstream media. Not only that, but it's everywhere. It's on advertising. Well, the mainstream media is everything, including the public education system. The public education system is it's a tentacle of the mainstream intelligence. This idea of mainstream intelligence is the weapon. It has been weaponized in its infancy. It was meant to be a weapon. It was meant to be a weapon to force the people to force the masses of people into a space of glorifying their false self. The public education system, the Western education system, is a false intelligence. So that intelligence is the one intelligence that people look up to, which is now putting a lower intelligence at the higher intelligence of a higher being. So now you have just maxed out that higher being's potentiality to its lower intelligences. The highest intelligence of the lower intelligence is the solar plexus. So after your sexual and reproduction and artistic energies have been manipulated by the system, that now opens the doorway for the next energy center, which is the solar plexus, your will, your fire, your movement throughout this realm. That is now manipulated the same way the root chakra and the sacral chakra were taken down. you will not be able to activate the highest potentialities of the solar plexus, the highest space of the lower space. You will not be able to activate the highest potentialities of the solar plexus if your root chakra and your sacral chakra have been damaged, or are running with little to no fuel, or are running backwards, as I've said in previous videos. There's a space of twice movement in a direction that is beneficial to you that I've explained in different ways. An example would be like the spinning of a chakra. Let's say it just doesn't spin one way. Let's say it has like a 360-degree spin when it's running at its maximum potentiality. Well, we've been taught that there's only one kind of spin in our chakras. That's one way of manipulating people to not allow them to activate their highest potentiality. For example, when people get into the New Age, what do? They adjust their spin from spinning backwards because they were eating themselves. They were in a space of complete separation from their energy centers. Now they get to a space of no longer energetically feasting on themselves, but now moving to a space of balance where it stops moving backwards and starts moving forward. The thing with that is, once you start moving forward, it's still in one direction if you don't activate and tune in all the other chakras, which will shift that process into the next gear of 360-degree spin. So on a linear dimensional observation, you'll see spinning backwards and spinning forward, and you can understand that. But beyond that, there's the spin that happens, the macro spin that happens once each individual spin of each energy center starts to work on its own, or work the way it was designed for you to reach that potentiality, the way it was designed for you to not only reach but maximize. Whereas in this space, in this realm, the norm is to glorify the backwards spin of your energy centers. So this is the beyond the satanic, beyond the ego false self of the enslaved man, and into the glorifying the illusion of the illusion. So the devil side, glorifying the human experience, glorifying the technology experience. This is the glorification of separation, the glorification of backwards spinning chakras. So the energy of a chakra is not just going to stop because somebody's using it, not using or not maximizing its potential. It's going to keep running. That spin will continue to spin, just as a beat of the heart will continue to beat. The thing is, if you do not... Spin is not just spin. Spin is also intelligence. So if there is a spin going, and the intelligence of that spin is not being utilized, lower dimensional entities will use that spin to benefit them at your expense. This is what's happening in the realms of the mainstream and Western society. They have artificially generated an energetic spin of reality that has nothing to do with the natural forces, the natural cycles of both the macro and the micro experience. The knowledge of all of this is the light, or the energy that allows you to spin that light. And this is what the satanic system wants to keep you away from, because as long as you are kept away from the knowledge or the light, you are kept away from removing these lower entity beings from their artificial throne over the masses. So this is why the idea of Lucifer has been thrown in with Satan and the devil and so on and so forth. They also had that Netflix show Lucifer. I think it was on Fox too, or whatever it was. It's out there. So the system needs you to know to a certain degree, so that the fear reaches a certain degree. It's not only fear, but it's energetic, in the same family as fear. So all of the beings, all of the intelligence that is in the same family as fear, or the false self, or the so on and so forth, those are there are beings attached to that stuff as well. And these beings that I'm talking about are literal incubus and succubus. Angels or angles of intelligence, angels or angles of consciousness, is a threat to the consciousness of ignorance, which is the lower bodies. Not to say that lower bodies are bad, because like, is music bad? Is sexual reproduction bad? No, of course not. But music and art is heavily attached to the sacral chakra, or the lower chakra, one of the lower chakras. The same way, kind of like your root chakra is connected to earth. Is the realm bad? No, like that's a childish way to see this experience. The higher way to perceive this experience is to understand beyond good and bad. Good and bad is more so beneficial to the ego or false self-intelligence, more so the human intelligence, because it's a control factor. Like, demons or demonic energies serve higher energies. So the highest energies of the lower energies are the gods and kings of the lower demons. So the lower demons that serve the higher demons are like incubus and succubus that exist in and throughout the human experience. They are the workhorses for the higher lower dimensional energies. And the workhorses for the higher lower dimensional energies are existing in the day-to-day actions of the individuals who are unaware of the energies that they are not only inhabiting, but expressing. So you're expressing the potentialities of your higher self, but you're also expressing the potentialities of your lower selves. And if your lower self has been manipulated to overtake the potentiality of the higher self, in fact, if your lower self has been put on a pedestal as your higher self, which is what's happened today with the glorification of physical technology, the glorification of humanity, extraterrestrials, like that whole material-based, satanic-based identity is the glorification of the lower expressions of our reality. Once you realize that on a micro level, and it's not only a realization, but it becomes an activation if that's part of who you are. Some people can read books and see this all the time. They won't see how this is manifesting in this reality, because it's just a thing. It might as well be science fiction. But this is the thing. This is why science fiction exists. There's a science fiction exists to uphold and push regular science nonfiction into the future. The same way we have spiritual fiction, which is the mainstream religions out there that usher the spiritual nonfictions into the lower realms of our reality. Your science fiction is designed to grab hold of your spiritual sciences and dial them in to the maximum capacity or maximum potentials of the lower experience. Just as the spiritual, or they call it religion, the spiritual fictions are designed to control your spiritual non-fictional reality. Once those two aspects of your reality have been controlled and dominated generations upon generations, each generation now opens up a doorway for a more powerful incubus or succubus. The process has to start all over again, though. So the next generation of incubus and succubus that are birthed are not birthed directly in, generally. They're not born directly into the incubus and succubus status. They're born in the process again. They have to come through the experience, and they have to make the choices to either go closer to the incubus and succubus or go closer to their higher selves. That choice is being made as they are raised by the previous generation of incubus and succubus. The depths of the previous generation will affect and determine the experience of the next generation, the upcoming generation of potential incubus and succubus.